My computer's yelling at me. Hey everyone, welcome back to Jaraci Cup 11. Continuing in Group A, we're moving on to a game between myself and me and I. Bozocow versus Descara. First game's going to be on Touring Craters. Let's go ahead and read the info.txt. I have the lower seed actually, because in fact I was in the finals of the last tournament, Descara being eliminated in the semis by A game. So I picked Galzian, he picked Coalition, and then I picked Touring Crater as the map. I picked Touring Crater just because I've generally done pretty well on here, but I know that it's risky. There's no map, I don't think, in the pool where I'm just going to be able to smash Descara out, and that's for sure. Generally I would pick some map where I have some strategy planned, but I was just thinking of going ref mode here. I don't think I'm going to have much success trying to rush him. Because he's Descara, he just doesn't get rushed. As I pause to take a sip on my drink, as the great Magpie would have said. It's ref mode for me. Descara has SC first coming out. Does get that LAV fab started. So he has only the 6 salvagers here, so he's got 5 on the main, 1 getting CUs over there. It's pretty standard for Descara. He's going to follow up the SC first with some LAV production. Yeah, definitely. It's really quite sad. Magpie is a lot of fun to have on cast. He brings quite an energy, right? But definitely you could tell by like the last couple times that he cast, he didn't really know what he was talking about, unfortunately, quite a lot. And he just kind of faded out somehow. So it's quite sad to see. As I understand, he's got an actual life. Imagine that. So you can understand why he's busy. Yeah, wasn't he a virologist? I mean, I think that would make a lot of sense. I hope we'll see him again before Homeworld 3, though. Because I mean, I'm sure we'll catch him there. But oh yeah, no, he was talking about his workload. He does something. He does something I never totally understood, but apparently, like, he organizes something, like that's his job, and I can't exactly remember how it works. Double fake out. Well, you did say I think. You said it twice, so seems to be. AV Fab coming up for Descara here. He's not going to cancel the SC. It looks like we're both just going up to 3 base, so this is a very standard eco opener. A game was quite unhappy with it because I don't have any scouting, so I don't technically know that I'm not about to die, but Probe gonna get sniped here, but he sees the second PC. So we do have AV tech coming out here, but I'll just move up onto my 3 base, so will he. And it's probably gonna be a siege game then. This is pose. I mean, Touring Crater's not really a bad map for siege at all. You got the hills to fire over here, but it also means that like you can it also means that you can deal with the railguns, which actually have quite a lot of open terrain to fight. We get siege cruisers here and here. Say, you know, it's quite difficult to fight the siege or fight the siege with your railguns. So it gives you counterplay to that. Also, that's very sad in a game. I'm quite disappointed. I really wish that we could do it because it seems like, you know, it's such an obvious hole. But that's just the state of DOK modding, I'm afraid. Yeah. Saban needs nerfs anyway. Freaking OPAF faction. But for now, it looks like Descara building more LAVs mostly. He does have that AV tech, so I'm assuming that comes out pretty soon. But that's kind of weird. LAV gonna try to chase out the scouting skim there. I did see AV tech, but no air. That's what I'm really worried about. In that case, I go for really fast carrier unlock, and I'm not sure if this is really worth too much. I think I've got an idea of a game plan where I move the carrier out super early, but I feel like that kind of stuff is not terribly effective, so this is maybe a mistake for me, but I'm gonna go for it anyway, see what I can get done. It's obviously a map where air could be really good. I could go for that. I could just go straight to siege, but gonna choose to play it this way. only have getters? Oh my gosh. So it really just can't be done. I mean, how much DLO hacking would it take to fix that? Horrifying. That sucks, man. If we had like full access to modding here, like the number of things we could do, it'd be so much fun. But that's unfortunate. Assault Cruiser Fab looks like it'd be the choice from Descara. I mentioned before, I'm curious how this is gonna play out. Like, are people going for assault cruisers now when they don't need it for like artillery tech? But there's still good units in their own right, as we know. One of the reasons they were so prevalent in the meta, I'm sure, though, had to do with the fact that you needed them to get to artillery. And I haven't actually seen his carrier on the map here. So he's gonna slay the sand skimmers with his LAVs there. Bit of micro, probably could have taken care of that and kept those guys alive. Probe gonna be denied here once again. No, I mean like the last patch, like JC10. Now, why am I moving back here, I wonder? No, coalition artillery. Because what I'm wondering is, like, now that you can get it before getting AV tech, are people still going to go ACs as much? Because you saw ACs, like, all the time. Oh, but yeah, look at this. It's railgun fab. That is curious. And I guess you're right, Aiden. Like, we didn't see already that much, but I mean, we saw ACs all the time, right? Maybe I'm just overthinking, like, overthinking. I'm like over-remembering. Is that a term? Like the games that I played in the interim, like between JC10 and JC11. He did cancel rails, by the way. He's going for artillery now. Oh dear. Oh my, this backstab is just like, it's in. What the heck? This is a little bit silly of me. I guess I'm just like not watching anything here. The LAVs get in to the third base. I feel like that's just false though, just. Money is just a way to facilitate your life. It's not the end all goal of it. Look at that, that's cute. Actually trying to barrage the LAVs to try and weaken them here. It kind of works in a way, although I think this assault chip is going to die anyway. Well, maybe not. Oh, it's actually not got vision anymore. But the ACs are chasing out the assault chips here, and the carrier has to come back to deal with this, because obviously there's going to be problems when the ACs get to my base. Can I finish these guys off? Oh, not quite, but I get one of them. Still, the LAVs actually go down quite a lot there. It's not a real game unless all your LAVs are on fire. Yeah, I agree. That's pretty woke. By the way, it's Railgun Fab coming out for me now. I think this is actually maybe a bit of a mistake, because when assault cruisers are on the field on Torrent, it's quite difficult to stop them from getting on top of you. I mean, maybe if you can position like a god, but you've seen me play, so... Maybe air would have been a better play here, and it's specifically bombers, I'm thinking. But I go for the railguns anyway. I've got one siege cruiser here. It's a little out of position, but I've already got EMP and range on them, actually. Okay, that's nice. Fancy stuff. Second EMP was late there, by the way. That was a little bit messy. Tactical Missile Barrage comes out from this AC, but it's not doing damage on the carrier. I'm not really sure about that. AC? Or, well, the first AC actually that's dropped this game, I suppose. I think it just missed, but I was a little curious myself. And I will get an extraction out here too, if I'm not too lazy about it. Here come 2 from Descara though, so that'll bring the scoreline to 2-1, I suppose. This AC here, it's not just on defense, dude. Although there's 2 turrets set up. Man, Descara just loves turrets these days, I guess. But he can actually chase me out as well. Although ACs aren't as fast as assault ships, but they use the boost. They're faster for a brief moment, so. No, they're useless. Yeah. Actually, I think that this goes to show that Galzian is OP. Can I cast it? Certainly not, but I'll give it a look. I don't think any of us want to be triggered that badly. You need to understand though. If I watch that replay, I'm gonna be roasting you the whole time. Ah! I am being lazy. Oh no. Okay, no, I do start moving the base for it. This'll probably extract. Oh gosh, the AoE for this turret though. This is some pretty god tier splitting for me. Oh no. I mean, it's not like I was really going to be able to crack the base here, but losing... Wow. 1 HP! Losing 2 assault ships as it is, not 3. It's still never what you want to do. Probes do get killed by siege eventually, so that one is going to go down. Actually, it looks like Descara didn't chase me with the AC, but he did kill those 2 assault ships that were out there. Siege cruise is getting a little far forward here. But this is looking pretty good for me. It's not often that I feel... Okay, yeah, that's the problem. Let's just tab away from there. Don't look at that anymore. This feels okay for me. It's not often that I feel okay against Descara, so I'm feeling good about that. Also Siege Cruiser though, to the Precision Barrages and the Artillery, but I believe I got one in return, so that's actually not so bad of a trade. But... Well, it could be argued that's not good enough, because obviously Coalition can make more than one at a time. But I actually smelled air coming for once here, and I've built missile ships. Look at this. So... Nice. Yeah, so I do have some anti-air here, and actually I think my idea was that even if he doesn't go air, it would be nice to be able to kill the probes off, but Siege can kind of do that already, so... But yeah, I read the air coming. That's nice for me. A little dangerously close to teleporting over here, but probably not going to happen. A lot of CUs though, so I actually start taking into raiding here just to try and burn off the CU float by building skims, and then I can use those later, ideally. Oh, I remember this. Yeah, I hid this base sprinter in the corner because I figured the AC was going to come and I wanted to hide it. What's the counter? I don't know, man. Bombers, I think. Descara says siege and nuke. I think it's dangerous to fight that. Although you were saying in that cast with you and Moose that you're fine with siege and EMP being able to beat Coalition Artillery. I feel like it's tough though. Descara, by the way, going for bomber tech this game, so that's a thing. But I do have a fair number of HR out here. AC going to chunk though, that's what they do. Obviously, like, I like the rating upgrade because I can move in a little bit faster and get away from AC and stuff, but I still can't deal with the AC when he's out there, so I do have to deal with that. I could maybe go for eco harass, but look at all these turrets, and this feels kind of impossible. And Agam, I think in the game, was actually telling me to just base straight here, which is what he's saying there. Basically, like, you're never gonna be able to fight this army, so just try and trade the bases. But I don't know. That seems too coin flipping, really. Although maybe flipping a coin's not so bad when you're up against Descara. Oh, again, I missed the bomb reveal. 2 of them. That was 1 bomb. Oh gosh, I think 1 bomb killed 4 heavy rails, or 3 heavy rails there. Second bomber seems to have a number for this railgun. Yeah, it's gonna take it out. Could lose siege here too, so I can amp up the missile ship production now. But this is tough because the heavy rails going down. I mean, maybe they would have gone down eventually to artillery anyway. But Descara's playing this very stalled out. So the real problem is that they can't fight ACs anymore. And wow, he's setting down more turrets. HEC, a decent count. I don't think you play that terribly well because the artillery is actually always going to be out of range. And yeah, smoke's a good point too. I didn't think about that. I think that's why you need siege to respond. It's just tough because the coalition siege can one-shot you, so... And you can't ever really one-shot it. I mean, certainly it's not like coalition siege should always win, but it feels like that sometimes. It's really hard to fight it, I think. Descara is saying no, though. Party Cruiser gets a little bit low here. Now, as I recall, I started feeling the pressure at this point. I mean, you see Descara is going for the extract here. I really didn't want to let him get it out, because I felt like that would be quite bad for me. I've got a lot of anti-air now. Well, it's not really that exposed, is it? Because again, he's got like 6 turrets back here, so... My attempts to push on the turrets have not really been successful so far. Oh, and there's an AC back there too? Yeah, there is. Bombers, by the way, are going for the missile ships. I guess he didn't expect me to build like a campaign-style anti-air squad here, so he didn't really get anything done right there. But I choose to come in here. Now, I can actually carrier block this basement. Advanced tactics right here, of course. Oh, it's so close too. That's really gotta be pretty sad. But I believe at this time I figured that my best bet was to actually try and jump on top of the artillery and just kill them off right here. Well, BR can't get in. I think it was just getting blocked all the time. Oh man, this is politely giving way to old man carrier. Down goes an arty cruiser. This is nice. EMP hits the AC here. Carrier 5 is starting to detect for me, but this carrier is it's going places. Oh yeah, I do have a lot of money too, don't I? Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking right here. This is really quite int. I can still back away from this, but I choose to kind of commit into it. Descara has the nuke, so I ought to know he's got a lot of carrier power here. And the bombers are going to do a lot of damage too, so... I don't think the game was like won for me by any rate, but definitely I didn't have to die like this. Yeah, there's no escape for the skeleton carrier. Although it is a speedy boy. It's like a preemptive throw, yeah. Yeah, no, A-Game definitely told me I was throwing there. I think what happened was that I thought I was like really behind and I needed to make like a desperation play or something, but I don't really understand my thought process, to be honest with you. Maybe I just really wanted to die, you know? Well, at any rate, I do go down like that, so Descara gonna take the win. And we'll jump into game 2. Continuation of feed, yeah. If you check the units lost tab, I was still quite behind at that point, so... Even though the numbers are pretty even. If you have the faster army, you should fight elsewhere. It's tough because he's on his extraction zone, but I had stopped his base runner, so you're right, I could just leave. I don't know. As for like carrier killing, turrets, yeah, possibly, but it's sometimes like the carrier can actually die to that crap. I think being at power 4 like that, I was gonna be able to clear out turrets for sure though. This is interesting. Always smoke. That's crucial, even if you're not retiring. To be honest, it does have a low cooldown. It's not like I'm gonna be missing that smoky buddy. But there was an AC guarding as well, so you'd actually have to worry. Like maybe there's a chance I could die there. Well, for the map picks, Descara takes Coalition first, and I knew that KT was probably coming, so I actually picked Conf in response. A-Game had been telling me about this like assault rail rush push with like the blast drones, and I don't really know how to execute it because this was the first time I'd ever played this build, but I decided to go for it. So you can see I've got blast drones building on the base runner, which is going to go on a bit of a wide angle, and otherwise it's going to be like a rail rush, but basically just a lot more AR focus. After the game, I tried it many times against Descara, and I think lost every single one. That gives you an idea of how good I am at this. But obviously, this is the only game that really matters for the tournament, so we'll see what ends up happening. I do like the one LAV out here to scout. Obviously, he did retire that probe, so he wants, or the base runner without sending a probe. So he wants to make sure he's got an idea of what's going on. But actually, okay, I take it back. This is the LAV spam build, so he doesn't have a probe in that build. He wants to just get the information with the LAVs. Oh, hey, it's Moose. Yeah, I suppose so. But I figured if I take a nap, I'll end up sleeping for 8 hours again. So I want to just cast him while I'm awake. Make sure I don't screw it up again. Descara is saying this game, always a great vote of confidence. Railgun Fab is done now. Now when Descara sees the carrier, he'll know about that. Assault pack teching. And Descara is actually correct. This is the last group stage match we have to cast, and this is the second game of it. So, but the vault will be up in just a moment, and this will get posted to YouTube in about a week, I'd say, at the current rate. It's pretty cool. I'm finally caught up. Salvager getting poked here, but you can see Descara sends everybody back. Now the reason he does that is because he knows that this is obviously a rail rush. Oh yeah, sure. Can delay the inevitable. Sounds good to me. Now he obviously still has more LAVs than I have skins, so I'm in a bit of a power trough here. But again, I have the blast drones, so thoughts to being able to, you know, get some juicy hits here, and actually gain kind of a dominant lead even at this early stage. So blast drones looking, but we take just a 1-for-1 trade. Nothing special here. 2-for-1 now. I mean, that one's just free. If the assault rails can keep shooting, this is where Galzine gets ahead, or Konaf in this case, in this type of scenario. There's the third assault railgun. But you have to remember, the old rules of rail rushing still apply, which is if you overbuild on assault rails, mass LAV will kill you. And eventually Descara gets rails too, so... But he does build a support cruiser, that's true. He mentioned after the game, as we did some testing, that like he really just didn't need... He doesn't need an SC because the carrier can't really do anything when I have this many ARs. You see how much damage it does. For sure, this can actually be greatly mitigated with power in the armor. But, a little too late for that. Oh, somewhere else being jumped on. This is actually quite bad. Where's the blast drones? Oh, they're way out. They're way out of position. Like I said, I hadn't. Like I said, I hadn't done this rush yet, so. Yeah, I guess you missed the lead up. Oh no. You missed the lead up here, Moose. But A-Game does this to Descara in one of the other games that we had watched. And the idea is to build a lot of assault railguns and use blast drones to ward off the LAVs. That's an okay hit. But looking back on things, I think actually what I want to do is I want to get I want to keep the blast drones ready to guard the ARs in this case, and actually just use the ARs to poke the eco instead. But I'm actually still gonna win this fight, I think, although this obviously would make one nervous. But after the ARs are all taken out, I think that I'm gonna have there's no hit point bars left for Descara, so I'm gonna be able to win the trade off the back. Wow, that's a lot of units lost for this stage of the game. Not often you'll see Rail Rush with that much trading, is it? But this is ref mode on the way for me. That's why I'm pulling back. The army wants to stay forward, and you can see I am gonna do it that way. Rail armor? No, not just yet. Although that would not be bad if I'm going to build this many of them. At this stage, probably not going to get that. But Descara does have the, he does have the support cruiser out. So he can get up onto 2 base as well. Yeah, actually, assault railguns lost 1 point of armor in this patch, and they gained DPS for it. So, and their cost was like rearranged, which is quite favorable to the rail rush, I think. But yeah, they're actually somewhat less tanky than they were before. In that case, I think getting the rail armor upgrades might be a big deal. But didn't go for it this game. Second BC about halfway done. Descara's carrier is always going to be low here because he really cannot sacrifice the eco to like heal it with the support cruiser. So this damage is not permanent per se, but it's going to be actually possible to capitalize on this later. So he does need to make sure he doesn't under defend here. It's possible I could have come back in with a force all of a sudden. So he needs to get eco, but he also needs to have armor. A couple rails then. But that's going to be very favorable for me, because it lets me get the second PC out and jump up on 3 base at a very fast timing. Second artifact likely to extract as well, which is nice for me. But I think I'd reiterate, I didn't really play this terribly well. I really basically just got lucky because Descara choked a little bit, which is not very common. I'm going to need a lot more practice with this build before I can say I'm confident playing this in like a series, you know, where you're locked in on Con F the whole time. Yeah, we're gonna get Bozocow, I expect. Not quite, okay, it does live there, but it's a little bit dangerous. The thing is, like, LAVs do get soft countered by ARs, but you can definitely win that fight. If you know, you can definitely win that fight, like, if it's just ARs. Like, the skins really have to be there to stop the LAVs from just jumping up on top. Why did I prefer Galzian? Honestly, I'm just really a sucker for base runner heal. I know that sounds stupid, but that's the reason why I played Galzian back in, like, 2016 forever. Or not 2016, 2018. Because 2016, obviously, I only played for, like, a month and then I left to Turkey. I just really like base runner heal. I know that sounds like the stupidest reason. But then after that, it became sort of like a pride thing, you know, because like everyone's playing Con F for that stupid Con F Siege, and I was like, I don't need Con F Siege to win. I'm better than that. With Patch having actually made Galzian a viable faction again, though, I would say it's more to do with like the carrier. I feel like the Con F carrier is very strong, but it's not as easy to use for me. Somehow the Galzian carrier seems not very intuitive. Interesting trade right here, by the way, but again, I think that actually this turns out okay for me. And again, big RU costs here, but I am going to be up about 1,000 CUs, so... Well... You know, I suspect you'd actually say that's probably in favor of the player with the RUs lost. Or, well, killed, that is. So, like, Descara in this case. But just barely. I mean, this is like, fairly even, actually, in a lot of ways. The only problem, of course, is that Descara is not on 3 base. And actually, just as he gets there, I show the blast drones. He has to be careful about this. And blast drones are speedy boys. They have 200 speeds. They're going to get out of here. So, economy-wise, yeah, I'm quite ahead. But, like, units on the field, it's not quite so obvious. So, I need to capitalize that lead somewhere else. I'm going to do it with carrier power. You can see I'm unlocking the carrier at a pretty early timing once again here. Could get honor guards, would be pretty nice here. But first I'm going to prioritize getting my carrier power upgrades and try and get the carrier out to the midfield, I think. Heavy rails are out too, so I can fight the railguns from Descara finally. He, of course, doesn't have Mag Excel. You don't want to get that tech too early because it's quite expensive on RUs. I agree, yeah. But in game, I chose to go with the carrier power. So, but I think honor guards would have been quite a spicy choice here. This is a 4-on-2 scenario where I don't think I have high ground, so he can win this for sure. So I really want to be patient and let the heavy rails come in, but I'm sort of going too early here. I want to back over the green now. I don't win this fight. Yeah, as you can see, we trade 1 for 1. That's not really good enough here, because again, he's got the numbers lead, so trading 1 for 1 is actually even better for him. This is nice, though. Get the guy over the hill, so he takes a little bit of damage, which he's not going to be healed as quickly as I suspect. Yes, Descara is an analyst. Oh my gosh. Descara's analysis of the game state is akin to complaining about balance. I agree. By the way, this flank no good, so I think I'm gonna, yeah, I choose to reconsider and bring the carrier over that way. Third artifact extracts though. And that gives me quite a lot of power to work with, even though I haven't teched any. Autoguards? Would be a good call. Although I am... Oh dear, I'm feeding a lot of arrogance here. The Scar is no longer on the low ground here either. But yeah, the 4 BDs. I mean, the idea here is just that he can't stop me from getting on him, so I can blow up the railguns this way. Looks like I don't even need to, though. Wow. They managed to get a bit of health on one LAV, but still, the threat of them pushed the LAVs back, which let me kill the railguns, so the BDs actually did a lot more damage than it looked like right there. And yes, build time on BDs is quite long. I think that they're kind of more like mid and late game units than early game units, to be honest. This is a damage 1, armor 1 against no ups on the skins, but Assault Rails here means he still has trouble, killing off these skins here. Like, the ARs go down eventually, but pretty good trade for me in the end. It takes a long time to assemble junk in a floating vehicle. Well, not only that, but it's explosives, right? So if you make a mistake, you know, you could like blow up and kill everyone, so. I just feel like the C-Rails being a mistake. The problem is like he has to go for it, because what if I came back in with a couple ARs and like mass skim like it was a normal rail rush? He'd just die if he didn't build C-Rails, so it's kind of forced. And they're not even bad on this map. But Strike Fighters, by the way, coming out actually for Descara. That's an interesting call. I didn't catch that teching here. Oh, did he overkill on the railguns? I didn't see that. That's unfortunate. Getting a lot of kills here, though. I'm sure the unit's lost tab is yelling at me again. Oh, gosh. I'm 1,000 CUs up, but 1,000 RUs behind. That's kind of insane. Does this guy die? Oh, yeah, he does something. This is kind of absurd. I've never seen the numbers look quite like this before. With that last heavy railgun kill, though, heavy rails, of course, had their CU cost nerfed once again. He has pretty much even CUs lost here, so yeah, he's definitely ahead in that metric, but like, he's on 1 base, right? So I can sustain this. I remember what I was talking about with this carrier still having its damage on it, like, he still hasn't been able to heal it here. Actually, this SC is idle, not healing the carrier, which is a little bit unfortunate, but... Oh yeah, and then scoreline's the other issue, of course. I've got 4 artifacts extracted here, I'm bringing 2 more out, so he has to Desperado onto the artifacts now. And in fact, the Strike Fighters really need to be hitting the base runners, I think, but the LAVs have got to find some window in. They've got the upgrade lead, but it can be easy to find the way inside here. Not to mention there's blast drones out too, so... And I basically decided to just like int on the LAVs, although I think actually this fight is going okay for me anyway. Oh, the blast drone hit too. Oh, another one! Oh. Crippling. That actually wasn't the blast drone killing it though, discard GG. But yeah, as long as I can just clear the way for the 2 base runners, we are going to win the game, so... Game 2 goes to my favor here, by some early game mistakes to the Descara. And that brings the scoreline to 1-1. I guess we both know how to throw, although I still think my throw was more legendary, so... Moral victory in my pocket. All the Group A games that have been played, yeah. But obviously there's still some to go. Well, thanks for watching.